Hello guys, and welcome back to Making a Cat Cry. We are possibly going to sign up for the dance competition? Check Highball and the arena ladder. You save time by doing both at once. Leader. Leader. Uh, you can see... Question mark. Oh, never mind. I forgot what his voice was. The arena master compliments you on the nice injury. Thanks, you say. You can't see out of it. Cut eye holes and cape. Be a spooky ghost dancer. Wasn't that thematic? Katia, it looks like you'll have to enter the dance competition, considering you don't have any other options left. But before you make it official, you should ask if you can get those clothes without entering the competition itself. It probably won't work, but you should try at least. Anyway, the arena. This arena. There was a dance competition or something here, right? Yes, he sighs. About every week or so. There's one happening the day after tomorrow. He doesn't look like slow. He just looks depressed. Could someone still sign up for that? The orc says he cannot fathom why any self-respecting individual would want to, but yes, someone could. And you've heard some arenas give all the competitors armor and stuff to make sure they're outfitted the same way. Is there anything like that here? Yes, the orc replies. As tribute to the arena's golden age, they still outfit all competitors with their choice of a light or heavy Kvatch arena I'm sorry, are you wearing a bedsheet? No, you explain. This is a priceless tapestry, professionally embroidered flag of surrender. You were looking through your vast wardrobe for something to wear today, and this just seemed like the most appropriate. Tell me one, tell me more about the free outfit. Right. The orc explains that it's an armored arena raiment, standard issue, back when this place had real fights and he cared. Back then, the competitors get a choice between a light or a heavy raiment when they sign up. So I could actually request heavy armor for a dance competition? Not if you're trying to convince me you have any intent of actually competing. Fair enough. Though, about that, hypothetically, if I did sign into this dance competition thing, would there be any sort of obligation to actually go through with it? Anything binding me to it? No, the orc says. Theoretically, you could just mislead him, sign up, take his fancy armor, and leave forever. There's nothing really I could do to stop you if you did. That's the first good news I've heard all day. But I won't do that. Pat, pat, he needs a pat. You tell the arena master you respect his profession, running an arena and all. And after you change, you'll even leave him this blanket as collateral if he wants. He asks you why there are two holes torn in it. You tell him you didn't want to be recognized on the way over here, so you just kind of ghosted. In retrospect, though, you guess you only needed one. Dancing contest is not an option if it involves dancing. Find out what the rules are. Meet competitors. See them in action if possible. Playing with fire is dangerous. Haven't you heard of it? Take precautions at least. Also, if you do consider entering said competition, read the rules very, very carefully. Don't want to miss any loopholes you could exploit or embarrassing stipulations. You apologize for taking up so much of his time. You just have a couple more questions you want to clear up before you commit yourself to anything. Assuming you actually do compete, there is a potential cash prize, right? Yes, he says. The exact amount varies. It's a cut of admission fees, depending on how many bored people come to gawk. You ask whether magic is allowed. Your relationship with it right now is a little complicated, but you want to know if the option is on the table. He says you can use anything you need. Magic, potions, bone mold shield, whatever. Thought it was just bone meal for a second. You ask him if the dance has to be something sleazy. He reminds you he reminds you that you were the one who got undressed and started clambering all over the lamppost. He had nothing to do with that. Oh, right, and lastly, you ask him what your chances of actually winning are. Hypothetically, if you entered. He tells you that the very fact that you are having this conversation means you have put more thought into this than anyone else who has ever come through those doors. Ever. So, probably pretty good. Ignore issues with doing anything stupid or degrading. Acquire clothes. Oh, all right then, you guess. What do you have to do to sign up? The arena master says there's just one question you have to answer. Blue team or yellow team? You ask him what that means. He tells you that the competition is team-based, and they're even right now. It just determines what color raiment you get and whether you're teamed with the Nord or the Dommer. Usually just shuffle someone like you into yellow with the Nord for color consistency, but figures he might as well give you the choice. Maybe let you turn this into a gent versus ladies thing if you want. So, yellow or blue? What will it be, Khajiit? Is that a reference to the Matrix? Yellow, 57 supporters. Blue, 58 supporters. Hmm, they had a vote. Democracy war. Yes. F. Okay. Hmm. Oh. Oh, it keeps going. That's fancy. Well, you've still got plenty of time before the competition. In the long run, you gotta get the letter from the bookstore guy and buy Chloe's book before Asotil shows up to escort you back. You have 2 or 3 days, if memory serves. As for today, you can train with the geezer from Hammerfall with the axe, and then end the day helping that elf with his sign. Go with blue. The garb will look better, and we'll meet and work with someone we haven't before. Just hope that we can find a way to have Katia stick the landing on this one, so to speak. If she wins that cash prize, it'll help her at least a little. Hey, old Hammerfell guy. Hey, you ask Ilden if he's seen a Dommer lady around, like, you know, Dark Elf. You just signed up for a thing and apparently you're going to be on a team with her and yeah.
Dunmer lady. He ponders it for a moment, but confesses that no one in Kvatch comes to mind. If she's visiting, you'll probably want to check in with an innkeep. Monaghan, was it?
You nod and sit down to rest your legs a bit. Ilden asks how your employment is.
Ilden asks how your employment is going.
You do your best to fake a friendly laugh and admit that it could be going better, you guess. You had a package you were supposed to deliver back to Anvil, except you managed to let it get stolen last night along with pretty much all your other belongings. Fancy. You guess it'll be one explaining to Quillweave that there used to be a package too until the worthless courier lost it. What? It's weird, it's so worldly. And when you get back to Anvil, I was hoping I could try to join the Mages Guild again. Except after last night, I apparently lost my ability to control magic for some reason, and I'm not sure if it's gonna come back. Not to mention, your starry-eyed perception of mages recently had a pretty big hole blown in it, and I'm not even sure if I even care about magic anymore, or what. So, yeah, everything's going pretty badly right now. On the bright side, at least I managed to find somewhere to stay last night.
Really? Eldon mentions here the rumor that someone found you passed out in.
You let him know that he's totally decimating your meager, remaining semblance of positive thinking.
He apologizes.
It's fine, you say. For the nine's sake, become hardened and world-weary already. You can't play a cute and innocent girl anymore. Things haven't... Things obviously haven't been working out. Yesterday, you mentioned you used to train for the Fighters Guild and offered to maybe show me some tricks sometime? I was wondering if that's still possibly a thing?
Sure beats sitting here feeding non-existent birds, he says. You looking to learn how to fight?
You tell him you don't know. You just kind of want to do something. Something that doesn't feel like a complete mistake, you guess. And you never know, you might need it to fight something.
He tells you that's a better reason than most folks would have. Come on, he's gotta go find a shield.
By the way, mind if I ask a question?
Ilden says it's fine by him. Can't think of any reason he would.
Oh, what do you know about Sigrid? The love...
The lovely lady from the Mages Guild? About as much as anyone in town does, he figures. What are you looking to find out?
Katia, gather information. I would love to hear her say, I want to rip her with a red-hot poker. Be careful and cautious. If you really like Sigrid, you don't want to alienate him by implying anything unsavory about her. Test the waters in the most benign, neutral way you can think of. What are you looking to find out? Everything. You, anything really? You're just looking to learn a bit more about her. You explained that you met with her last night. She was very charming. Really knew what she was doing. The guild hall looked like she only moved in recently, though.
Ilden tells you that you're right on that. She only moved into Kvatch a year or two ago. It ain't a big secret that the local guild hall used to be a necromancy study ground. Lots of real eerie folks down there doing wrong things. He isn't sure where Sigrid moved in from, but once he got into the Kvatch Mages Guild, she cleaned up the place into a respectable establishment. Cleaned it up right good.
You point out that it wasn't actually very clean in there. In fact, the place was kind of a mess. Had animals running around.
Eldon says it was just a, what do you call it, a metaphor. You can't expect the poor woman to actually clean the place on top of everything else she does. She's already running the whole place on her own. Well, her and that skeevy priest boy. Anyhow, once she got settled in, first thing she did was work her way around the different establishments in town, chat with folks, told them about all the good the Mages Guild could do, potions, protective spells, and the like. The girl had a silver tongue and a heart of gold. By the end of the day, I dare say she was something of a local hero.
Does she have any enemies? You tell Ilden that you have a hard time envisioning any one person, like, actually making all the friends. There's no one at all who even has a grudge against her?
He reckons there's been a few people who weren't too pleased with her at first. Mostly mage folk coming from out of the university who thought she was up to something shady. From what he's gathered, they always came around when she had a chance to speak with them, of course. You still got that little wood chopper from yesterday?
The, hatchet? You explained that half of it was eaten by a slaughterfish and the other half was stolen. It really didn't stand a chance. But since this is just training, you figured you could just use this piece of paper you rolled into a... Ah, yeah, that's better than a mace. Also, he's a lot more agile than you'd think. I was worried that, like, they were actually gonna get to training and she was just gonna, like, knock him out cold on accident. But, oh, this is sending the opposite idea. Hope Katia is gonna be alright. Alright then. Katia, ask if Sigrid has any enemies. Katia, also inquire about the Thieves Guild. What about thieves? Even if she's the nicest person in Nern, she still has a lot of valuables stowed away in that guild hall. Wouldn't wouldn't there be thieves interested in breaking in to take it?
Eldon says he understands your concern, but assures you that Sigrid is more than capable of taking care of herself. Kvatch has never had many in the ways of thievery. This is a mountaintop city with one way in, one way out. If a heist goes south or the guards catch wind, that thief's only escape would be through a main gate. Even if you had a career criminal in town, he reckons they wouldn't be willing to take that chance like that. Now, come on, swing that thing around for me, so we can see what sort of technique you've already got. He snickers at your best efforts and remarks that he'll at least have no problem finding something to teach you. Wow. All right, Ilden says. Stop before you hurt yourself. You're swinging that thing around like a monkey with a switchblade.
You tell him you're sorry, you're kind of new to this.
He says it's all right. We all have to start somewhere. He explains that this club is a heavy weapon. It's going to need a slow start, hard to steer. Once it gets up to speed, hard to stop. You can't just whip it around like a fencing foil. You have to get a feel for the weapon's weight and guide it, not force it. Let it swing, follow through, and get back to somewhere it can swing again.
Like, just let it go in circles, you ask?
Sure, he says, if it helps. Get a feel for the weapon and start working its weight rather than against it.
Don't forget to ask about Stefan while you still have the chance. Questions like, how did that church priest come to be working with Sigrid? And what does he actually do? I don't think you'll get to know much more about Sigrid. What about Stefan? Perhaps there's something useful about him you should know? While you swing around your tree branch, you ask Ilden about that skeevy priest boy you mentioned earlier. What's the deal with him anyways? Like, as far as you can tell, he and Sigrid are the only people in town associated with the Mages Guild. Did he move into Kvatch the same time as her?
Nah, Ilden says. That boy's been around town for ages. Real ornery fellow. Mostly spends his time away from other folks. At least folks that ain't Sigrid. Ilden says that he doesn't know much about him beyond that.
What about his relationship with Sigrid? Are they friends, or is he some sort of, like, second in command, or what?
Ilden admits he doesn't know much about it. As far as he knows, the boy's just another admirer. Except he has a Mages Guild membership, of course.
Guild membership? Which would mean he is a key to the Kvatch Mages Guild, right?
Probably. Ilden shrugs. Can't imagine why he wouldn't.
Do you know where I might be able to find him during the day? Anywhere that I could, like, possibly catch him when he's alone?
Ilden says that he quite frankly doesn't keep track of these things, though he has to say you're starting to ask some mighty strange questions about this guy. Is there anywhere you're going with this?
They stop practicing. You tell him that you're just incredible. unpredictably attracted to skeevy priests. Like, the skeevier they are, the more irresistible you find them. You assure him this is the entire line of query, purely explicit in nature. That wasn't. You probably would have been better off just saying what the actual reason was. So, how do I kill people?
Ilden tells you that's a question he can answer. You look to be getting a handle on that weapon, but if you want to do any serious damage, you have to put your body into it more than you were. Your arm's just going to guide the club. The force is coming from the ground up. He suggests that you loosen up your grip a little and try to swing at him. Those noodle arms aren't going to do much on their own, so make up for it by shifting your weight forward on the swing. Less arm, more torso.
You nod and tell him you think you can do that? Yeah. Jeez, kitty, what do you weigh? I mean, cats are actually usually pretty light. Um, they're a lot more fur than actually body weight. Wow, rude. Katia, continue practice. Training montage. Go. Do 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 do. Katia. No montage. Okay. Katia, train hard, train well. You did great last time you had someone teach/help you learn. Maybe that is the secret to unlocking your potential? To have someone train you? Remember, with a mace or a club, aim don't aim at the shield, aim at the head and arms, or equivalent striking limbs, to lower their effectiveness. And remember,
And remember, guide with your arm, force with your body, push off against the ground more. That's right.
Katia, focus. You're getting better with the club, but you've mostly been standing still. Remember to move and swing with control. Yes, you need to focus on moving in, dealing damage, and dancing away from retaliation. Otherwise, you're leaving yourself open.
And lead right into the next swing. Don't stop and wait. Vary your lines of attack. Keep moving.
Try holding it with both hands when you swing, like you're about to obliterate a big rock with a sledgehammer. What's a sledgehammer? I want to see you smash that shield. Put some oomph into it.
If you're coming in two-handed, spread your hands out more. Right, like that.
Well, that's not actually a bad thing. That means she got stronger. Yeah, no, her strength went up doing this, so that's actually a good thing. This is like one of those cliche things from training montages where they're practicing with wooden swords, and then the wooden swords eventually break after a lot of training, and then the guy's just like,
Well, looks like it's time for us to move on to the next step. Good job, little one.
except he doesn't look proud.
Welp, Yielding continues. He reckons that's probably enough for one day. Frankly, he's surprised that twig lasted as long as it did, being something that fell out of a tree.
You were hoping to get a bit more practice in, but yeah, you tell him you probably have some other stuff you should be concerning yourself with. That felt good though, like learning to do something and being able to let off a little steam in the process. Just knowing that you can kind of do something you couldn't before, there's something really confidencing about that.
He tells you not to let it go to your head. Having a passably decent swing is important, but there's a lot more to proper combat. Blocking, responding to attacks, moving around, breaking through defenses, not to mention keeping your armor in shape, keeping your weapons sharp and whatnot.
You nod and tell him you understand, though you don't really. It kinda went in one ear and out the other. After a bit of hesitation, you half chuckle and confess that, well, you're no fighter. You actually tried your hand at armor repair once, years ago. You read about it in this book and thought, like, maybe it was something you could handle? So you saved up a week's worth of stolen silverware and got one of those little hammers for pounding dents out of metal. Figured you'd repair some things, get some practice. Maybe get real good at it someday. Eventually you even managed to find some knight who wanted his armor fixed up while he went out bar hopping. You were all excellent about it, and then as soon as you tried to pound one of the fasteners back into shape, your hammer snapped in half. You spent like 2 hours freaking out and trying to fix it before the knight came back. Got mad that nothing was done, took his armor and stormed out, so yeah, armor wasn't for you. Of course it wasn't a total loss. You did manage to pocket a gauntlet before he left, which found its way into a pawn shop, and soon was converted into a couple rounds of ale. Oh, wait. Hmm. But, but really, thanks, for teaching me like an actual human being, or not human, I mean two-legged thing. I think I needed that. I think I needed that every once in a while.
Hilton says it was a pleasure. Just try to take what he taught you and use it to not get eaten by monsters.
You tell him you'll try, but can't make any promises.
Anyhow, it's getting late. Old people late. He ought to head off. Good seeing you, Desert Cat.
Likewise, you say. Awkward hug. It's a handshake. Right.
See you.
And, Desert Cat, you ask?
Just seemed fitting, he says. Got a tinge of old Alliker in your voice.
Oh, you say you hadn't really heard that before, and aren't sure what it means? But you guess it sounds cool. Katia, if you're thinking about killing Stefan, you should start thinking about how you're going to dispose of the body. Don't do what you're thinking about doing to Stefan. He's not actually done anything to you. He deserves to pay for Does he deserve to pay for Sigurd's crimes, especially when he may be under duress as well? You said you want to be a better person. Murder is not an improvement. Alright, back down to business. To defeat the Huns. You are not planning to kill anyone, but you're thinking this through, and it is likely you might have to defend yourself. If you're trying to circumvent Sigurd's evil machinations and get that package back, you risk causing her some big problems. And not gonna lie, you probably come across as pretty killable already. You can't imagine that will get much better once you start giving someone an incentive to get rid of you. You're committed to this, though. It probably sounds like a bad idea, but Quillweave is still counting on you to finish this job, and it would be a good way to show her you can. So technically, this plan is more like a good idea with some rough edges. Extremely rough edges that involve being murdered, but you're sure you can figure out some way around them. Find clothes. Complete. 2. Retrieve Quillweave's package. 3. Learn about unusual dream. Even what you're doing now Even what you're doing now needn't go in the quest log. It's just a side quest or even a stepping stone for entry 2. Do not forget to learn about that dream. Yeah, the dreams aren't something you easily forget about. It's probably around 316, and you don't really have any direct leads on Stefan right now. You could check for him at the chapel, but you didn't see him there this morning, and you'd rather catch him when he's home alone. Or when he's alone if you can. For the time being, you feel like your biggest priority should be finding someone to analyze those dreams. Finding some reference on alchemy so you can maybe counteract whatever Sigurd has in store. Or finding out what's up with your amulet so you can not burn to death when you least expect it, you guess? You're not sure what it says about you that these 3 things are roughly of equal importance to your mind. Why does she Why does she think that her magic isn't working? It's probably just that she used all of her magicka stores up. That's the one thing that I'm surprised hasn't clicked. Hmm. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode, where we'll get to see what Katia is up to next, I guess. Anyways, thank you for watching, and as always, see ya!